Greetings everybody. We're on Super Wednesdays here in the Holy Apple, Holy Land of Israel, on the 15th day of the month, the first month of Adar. A happy small Purim to one and all. Purim Katan, or sometimes it's called the first Purim. Wishes to everyone. This small piece was not planned till this morning, when a friend of mine sent me a clip, and all of a sudden, you know, like when you hit the jackpot in Vegas, all of a sudden, like I was saying, oh my God, this has been in front of our eyes all these years, and we never really caught the words of the prophets, but it's like right in your face. And then like certain things happen, and then you see the light. All of a sudden you see, why? How come I never thought? How come I never came up with that solution or that problem, or I never saw what was coming down the pipe? It was right in front of our face, right in front of our eyes. So that's what kind of morning I had. This article that I'm going to read is from, I love this name, it's from a group called the Outsider or Outside Club. You know how they used to be the Insiders or the Inside Club? So this is a great name. This is the Outside or Outsiders. So usually people that are listening to this class, usually they're thinking outside of the box. So we're really the outside, the outsiders. And this is really amazing. So I have to warn you, put on a few seatbelts today. Okay, this was posted 6 days ago by a fellow named Jason Simpkins. The title is "The Plot to Destroy America." Listen to these words that he writes. These days, Americans are so busy fighting amongst themselves, they've completely lost sight of our most dangerous enemies. Most dangerous enemies. And that's why you're missing the gravest threat to the United States today. Listen to these words. He's not playing games here. Mr. Jason, he ain't playing games. He ain't mincing words. The real plot to destroy America. Fox News and CNN don't report on it. The New York Times and Washington Post ignore it. And the average American is completely clueless about the danger they face. But the Pentagon is not. The U.S. military knows exactly what kind of hazards we're facing. I know because over the past year I've attended dozens of military lectures, conferences, and exhibitions. I've heard from generals, scientists, arms contractors, defense experts, and civil servants. And you know what they're all talking about? The great power conflict. They have weaponized outer space. These countries now have hypersonic weapons capable of piercing our missile defenses from outside the Earth's atmosphere. But the continental United States is not their intended target. It's our satellites that they're aiming for, in particular our GPS satellites. You may think GPS is only for directions, but these satellites do far more than that. There are approximately 2 billion GPS receivers in use around the world. Yeah, you got that, 2 billion with a B. They provide hyper-accurate clock synchronization to all industries that need exact timing calculations to conduct business. If 1 or 2 GPS satellites are knocked out, not to mention 3 or 4, almost everything in America falls apart. Financial markets will shut down because they all rely on GPS signals to conduct, record, and timestamp transactions. Banking would freeze up because every transaction requires timing signals from a GPS satellite. All of your money would be frozen and out of reach. I guess they would call that cold cash. The telecommunications industry, the internet, airlines, electric utilities, cloud computing businesses, TV broadcasters require precise GPS timing as well. The entire U.S. power grid requires GPS satellites to regulate the flow of electricity. The same applies to our water system. A potential war with Russia and or China. Because while the U.S. public has been distracted by political infights, our wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria have drawn attention and resources away from our true adversaries. And while we had our backs turned, they hatched a plan to take us down. Both Russia and China have developed extremely advanced weapon systems, missiles that travel at supersonic speed and are capable of evading our best defenses. Most importantly, though, they've done something they pledged not to do. They've weaponized space. These countries now have hypersonic weapons capable of piercing our missile defenses from outside the Earth's atmosphere. But the continental United States is not their intended target. It's our satellites that they are aiming for. In particular, our GPS satellites. Russia and China have secretly developed weapons to blind and immobilize our military and paralyze American services and institutions. In fact, China was developing and testing satellite-killing weapons as far back as 2007. First, it shot down an old weather satellite. Then it started firing missiles deeper into space, where the Pentagon parks its most sensitive satellites. And finally, China's most recent shoot-to-kill satellites test was conducted just 1 year ago. Then Secretary of Defense Mattis confirmed the results, flatly admitting that the Chinese could take out our satellites. The Secretary of Defense. And that is why President Trump called for a quick creation of a U.S. Space Force. People scoffed at the time. Maybe you did also. Late-night comedians sure had fun with the idea. But again, that's because they're completely ignorant of the threat we face. The president didn't just invent a whole new military branch on a lark. He did it because the top Pentagon brass told him the same things I just told you. That's why I wasn't surprised. Congressman Mike Rogers says the following: if people could fully understand the threat we have coming from Russia and China, they would understand how serious it is to protect our American assets. Ted Cruz, the senator. Our adversaries are weaponizing space, whether we like it or not. And the only question, if we will be ready or not. Okay. The plot to destroy America 6 days ago. Listen to this. It says in Tanchuma Vayetze, the second paragraph, Jacob takes a rest and he sees a vision in his dream. He sees the famous ladder of Jacob. And then he sees the following. He sees the nation of Babylonia going up and coming down. And then he sees the nation of Madai going up the ladder and then coming down. Then he sees the nation of Greece going up the ladder and then coming down. And then he sees the nation of Edom, of Esav, the Western, what's known as the Western world. He sees them going up, but they seemingly have no downfall. So, God says to Jacob, you go up also. He was afraid to go up. God says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Why? Because there's a verse. There's a verse in the prophet Obadiah The verse says the following. Even Obadiah, there's only one chapter, and fourth verse. Even if you raise your nest like an eagle, or if you place your nest among the stars, I will bring you down from there. So God says to Jacob, don't be afraid. If you see that they're climbing and it seems like they are not coming down, know that I could bring them down, even though they keep on rising and going further, higher and higher on the ladder. I will bring them down from this high place. Now, I don't know about you, but most people, I included, myself included, how do we understand this? We understand that the powerful nations, in this case, we'll see soon, talking about America, and we'll explain why. But the most powerful military, the most powerful economic strength of the world in our times is, of course, USA, America. And we always understood that how powerful that they are, eventually they will fall. Eventually they will come down. That's how, simply. Now this article sheds an entire unbelievable, I mean, if you're still sitting in your seats, you're really off. You're really sleeping. This is an amazing thing. Think about it. The prophet, thousands of years ago, Obadiah, he says these words. Even if you raise your nest like an eagle, or even if you place your nest among the stars, I will bring you down from there. This is an amazing thing. Jacob, he sees the ladder, he sees the nations of the world going up, and the last nation, which is the nation of Edom, of Esav, the Western world, of America. Got it? The eagle, the national symbol of the United States of America, the stars, the 50 stars on the American flag. That is what Obadiah saw thousands of years ago. And where is the downfall? Where is their downfall? The downfall is in space, is up there. That's what the meaning is. And that's what Mr. Jason Simpkins, he's coming and he's telling us the plot to destroy America via China and Russia, that they've weaponized the space. And from the space possibly will come the downfall of the United States, not on the ground. Because on the ground, they probably don't have a shot, China and Russia. If it was a military fight on the ground, they don't have a shot. But here, it's an amazing concept over here. Now, if you think about it, it's really amazing. It's like information on America. Number one, when you look at the word USA and you look at it backwards, it spells out Esav. USA, spell it backwards, A-S-U. In Hebrew, the Vav, Esav, is really pronounced O, Esau, USA. So we have number one clue that Esav is really USA of today. Number two, we have the prophet Obadiah, who is a convert, a righteous convert from the nation of Edom, and he speaks about the fall of Edom, this righteous convert. Now, he speaks about that even if they go up to the heights, even if they reach the highest of highs. Now, the eagle is related to, in the same family as the vulture, and the vulture, they could go 37,000 feet up in the air. So they are like the highest of highs of the birds that are flying around there. If you're looking up and you can't see, so, you know, you don't have to measure it, 37,000 feet up there. So they are the highest. And the fall will come from above. The fall will come from the sky. That will be the downfall of America, from above. From this attack via Russia and or China from above in space. So we have the stars, which are the 50 stars on the flag. We have the eagle, which is the national symbol of America. And of course, we know the 50 stars, which represent the 50 states of America. That, of course, is that we know in this world there are 50 levels of purity and there are 50 levels of impurity. So it's an amazing thing. You have 50 on one hand, which the Jewish people strive to rise to the 50th level of holiness, or the level of understanding, integrating our understanding with our actions, the highest of levels. And we have on the other hand what represents the lowest of lows, 50, the 50th level. In Egypt, for example, God had to expedite the Jewish exodus in order that the Jewish people would not fall into the 50th level of impurity, because there is no return. Once you've fallen into the 50th, there is no return. Amazing. They have 50. Number two, another symbol is, of course, the Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam, if you look at the name Sam, Sam is spelled Samech Mem, which is the forces. The forces of, we have good angels and we have the evil angels. And of all the evil angels, who is the father of them all, or the mother of them all? In order, we don't want to have anybody think we're, biased here. The mother or the father of all the evil forces in the world, of course, is called the Samech Mem, Sam, Uncle Sam, which is an amazing concept over here. So, to my humble understanding, also it's worthwhile, check out on the tractate Yoma 10, side A, you will see there that there is a dispute between, on one hand, we have the Rebbe, and we have Rabbi Yehuda, the Prince Rabbi Yehuda, and we have Rabbi Yochanan on one side of the argument. On the other hand, we have Rav. They dispute who will be the last nation to stand against Israel. And there's different opinion. Some opinions say that the Edom, Esau, will be the last one, and there are other opinions that actually the Muslim world or Persia will be the last ones to stand. So there's a dispute who will be the last ones, that before the coming of the Messiah, who will be the last ones to stand up and, of course, eventually fall. So to me, it's an amazing eye-opening experience here. Never understood the verse. I just thought that America would be all-powerful and then eventually they would fall, whether it's militarily or economic. But here we see a totally different way to look at it, that the downfall takes place literally in the Star Wars.